challenged the gods. In the beginning there was fire. It was a time when the land of Shinar hummed with power, a place where kingdoms rose like mirages and fell as quickly as whispers in the wind. Here, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, civilization awoke. Sumerian city-states, Akkadian empires, and Babylonian kings, all crowned by the towering ziggurats and swirling incense of forgotten temples. This was a world cradled by the gods, or so the people were taught, but not all believed. Beneath the surface of prayers and sacrifices, hidden behind the eyes of a restless young king, there was a question burning like an ember. A question that would soon set the world aflame. His name was Nimrod. Nimrod's story is one of rebellion, a defiance of gods and destiny that echoes across time. They called him a mighty hunter, a warrior, and a builder who reached for the heavens. They called him a blasphemer, a heretic, a king who sought to ascend too high. But these names are masks hiding the man who stood against a far greater power, a power older than stone and deeper than the rivers of his homeland. Nimrod's true rebellion was not against a singular god, but against the lie upon which his world was built, a lie as grand as the heavens and as small as a whispered prayer. From the moment of his birth, signs of greatness followed him. His mother spoke of stars that burned fiercely on the night he was born, and seers foretold a child destined for glory, but one who would walk a path fraught with danger. Raised in the palace of Shinar, son of Cush and grandson of Ham, Nimrod grew up surrounded by wealth, privilege, and the imposing presence of the priests. By day, the city's ziggurats rose like mountains from the earth. By night, their stones seemed to drink in the moonlight, giving off a ghostly glow. The temple courtyards filled with sacrifices, animals, and sometimes men offered to the gods, Anu, Enlil, and Inanna, to keep the land fertile, the floods at bay, and the storms gentle. Yet even as a child, Nimrod felt something was amiss. The gods seemed cruel, hungry for blood and sacrifice, their will enforced by priests who wielded fear like a blade. He would stand in the shadow of the temple, his eyes narrowing as he watched the sacred rituals. The people's faces turned to the ground in terror and awe, where others saw divine order. Nimrod saw darkness, shadows in the eyes of the gods, statues, and a void that seemed to swallow all light. By the time Nimrod was 17, he had grown into a force to be reckoned with, a skilled hunter who roamed the plains like a lion. He learned the ways of the hunt not as sport, but as a communion with the untamed spirits of the earth, each killing a reminder of life's fragility and power. The people began to call him the mighty hunter before the Lord, but Nimrod did not bask in their praise. He only felt a restless urge to understand the world beyond the hunt. The hunt, after all, was a fleeting moment of clarity, a glimpse into a reality that felt more genuine than the temples and idols that towered over his land. It was on one such hunt, deep in the wilderness, when Nimrod experienced a moment that would change his life forever. He had tracked a stag for miles under the heat of the sun, through forests of ancient cedar and along riverbanks where the water flowed silver and quick. But as he drew back his bow, he felt a sudden stillness, a silence that hung thick in the air, as if the very world had paused to breathe. The stag stared back at him, unafraid, its eyes holding an unsettling wisdom. And in that moment, Nimrod felt something like a shiver pass through the earth, a sense of being watched, but not by any creature of flesh and blood. It was like standing before an invisible wall, a barrier between this world and another, and it filled him with awe and dread. That night, the dreams began. Nimrod dreamed of a tower, a vast spiraling structure that stretched beyond the sky, its base planted in the earth and its peak lost among the stars. Around the tower swirled winds filled with whispers in 1,000 tongues, voices speaking words of rebellion and enlightenment. And above it all, there loomed a great presence, a force that pressed down like the weight of an entire world. The dreams grew stronger each night until Nimrod could no longer distinguish them from reality. He would wake drenched in sweat, his mind spinning with the vision of the tower and the sense of an unseen hand trying to crush it, to crush him.